And continuing with the reactions to the bomb strikes, the airstrikes, major opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, has criticized the federal government over its handling of the recent U.S. airstrikes in Sokoto, faulting officials for letting foreign sources break the news to Nigerians. The spokesman, Ini Ememobong, said it was unacceptable that citizens first heard of the strikes from President Trump's social media. He called the government's late and vague response inadequate, saying it raises concerns about Nigeria's sovereignty and public trust. The party warned that the government appeared unprepared and stressed that Nigeria must lead its own security communication. It also called for a review of defense agreements to prioritize joint operations and better intelligence sharing over foreign-led strikes. I'm now being joined in the studio by Dr. Hassan Sadiq, a security strategic expert. And thank you for joining us, Dr. Sadiq.
Thank you for having me.
These airstrikes, you've had the different reactions from different quarters, from a former legislator, from a a Muslim cleric. You've also heard from the political side of things. In your opinion, what would you say about the strikes?
Well, the strike, it is long overdue.
Really?
The expert, like me, like us. This issue of terrorists has been there for over decades. In security, the country is supposed to have collaborations, sharing intelligence, and where it is needed from a country that has some level of military might to assist, because terrorism is a global that affects most of the country. You understand that from the Sahel, where we belong to, we'll be facing this issue of terrorists, bandit that led to kidnapping and all that. So I was looking at, before now, Nigeria is supposed to have invited our allies, like America, who has the military power to do this job. That is why I said, what America just did as at last night, to me, is long overdue. All
right. Well, now also being joined by Dr. Salahuddin Hashim, a security and counterterrorism expert. He joins us virtually. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Hashim.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so you've heard Dr. Sadiq say this is long overdue. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Those who have turned terror to faith and those who have turned terror to a stream of income, I think the end is here. It is very important for us to remain very strategic in terms of our response. And then, of course, there is no one single country that can defeat cross-border crime like terrorism. And then, of course, we need cooperation from countries both within the region and, of course, internationally to defeat this menace that has confronted us as a country. So we think very key that the coherence within the cooperation is very key, and it is within international cooperation to do so. There are quite a lot of narratives and misleading information currently that is actually trying to weave this around the knowledge of the UN and US knowledge of our ecosystem, which I think does not necessarily count at this moment. What matters most is that those who really want to defeat terrorism must unite to defeat a common enemy, which is terrorism, and that in itself has continued to undermine us as a country. So whatever that has happened isn't something that we should in any way undermine. We should actually applaud it. But what we shouldn't is the fact that US should have respected that the leadership of this operation should have come from Nigeria, that it should have broke out the news from the Nigerian leadership. That for me would have been key and very strategic, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But be as it may, the question is what next after this particular strike? We expect some clearance operations. There will be movement of threats moving away from Sokoto all the way to Kebbi, down to Gusau. So what are these states within these border communities and border states doing to contain and deter threat? What are internal security plans have they put in place to actually deal with the issue of mopping and setting up checkpoints to be able to ransack trucks that are going to be moving around this country at a time like this? So it is very important for us to ask what are the strategic next steps that the internal security plan had actually put in place. So since we don't want to put on the ground, and we have been able to get this strike to happen, there should be some kind of on-the-ground support and programming that will help us to contain data and be able to manage whatever that has happened. But most importantly, we need strategic communication now, particularly with communities where all these debris are falling. The risk is higher because, again, there must be some residual explosives in all of those debris that we saw flying over the social media where communities are handling. How do we want to tell them how to handle and manage this kind of debris?
Dr. Kashim, I'll come back to you on this matter of the debris and the surrounding communities because of that matter in Kwara State, for instance, where they say the drone bomb was found. But let me get back to Dr. Sadiq here. Let's look at the matter of sovereignty of Nigeria. I mean, Sheikh Gumi mentioned that allowing this kind of strikes threatens Nigeria's sovereignty. Do you think so?
Sheikh Gumi is someone that is well respected, but I will categorically say he's speaking from the level of low knowledge about security of the nations. First of all, when you are talking of sovereignty, sovereignty is under the feet of military might of the nations. What is the level of Nigerian military might? This is what we have to look at before you are talking of sovereignty. Yet the law has picked limitations in terms of another country not to attack another country because there's a rule of law. But you have to come back and look at it. What is the interest? And the interest now lies on your military might when it comes to issue of insecurity. That is why I said Sheikh Gumi is a respected sheikh, but is speaking from the low level of insecurity. So we'll give it to him at that level. Now, if we are facing a problem that over time, Nigerian military, whatever, or the political power is not their will to tackle the insecurity, there's nothing wrong for us to invite external to come in and help us. What the armed forces of Nigeria need to do, which I've been said several times, is to come up with modalities. If we don't want the foot soldier of the American to be in our soil, you have to give us clear cuts, the modalities of operations, the debris, how it's going to be carried out. Over time, it's because also we are more of close, whereby a lot of informations are not being speak out, which is wrong. Because all this while, from office of the NSA, they are supposed to come up with the program that, look, by bringing in other countries to help us, it is not that the armed forces of that country is going to be here. This is how the modalities is going to be carried out. When there's an airstrike, this is what is going to happen, this is what we'll do. But these are things they don't say. If you see, Trump has tweeted and tell us, he tell the whole world that the attack has hit and is happy, is aware, he has given them go ahead. That is how the president of a nation is supposed to speak to us. That American so is going to do this. Do we had it? No. So this is why I said, this we could have been able to put everybody to know and understand because we have heard from the leaders and those who are supposed to speak so. The Trump has said so. So this is the way to go. From our armed forces, they've not been able to give us clear cut today that when these things happen, this is the stand of Nigeria.
So what you will be expecting from the military to say, okay,
over time.
Yes, this partnership.
Before now, we are talking of this money Nigeria because we are secular nations. We have multi-religious ethnicity. There are a lot of going to politicizations. To close that gap, that is why they could have come before now to give us, to tell Nigerians, see the modalities they are going to use.
But would that not be giving access to information to the terrorists?
You are not, because the airstrike missile is powerful than what they have.
No, what I'm saying is, if you're saying the Nigerian military should have come out to tell Nigerians this is what's likely going to happen, don't you think the terrorists would also be preparing themselves?
No, if you are telling Nigerians that no, Nigeria should not have any fear of military intervention from other countries, that the modalities which is going to carry out, it is plan this, plan this. It's not that you are revealing your strategic operations. It is quite different from strategic operation. Who knew it's going to be on a Christmas day? Nobody's aware. But they know these are not what you need to reveal. Okay. But the point that you need to make it clear for people not to have, so that we don't politicize it.
Okay. All right. We'll take a moment, and when we come back, I'm sure by then Dr. Kashim or Hashim would be back, and then we'll continue this conversation. Do join us again. Welcome back. I still have with me in the studio Dr. Hassan Sadiq, a security and strategic expert. Also joining us virtually, I don't know if he's back now, we had Dr. Salahuddin Hashim, a security and counterterrorism expert. I understand we don't have him back yet. We hope to get him back before we finish this conversation. So, Dr. Sadiq, before we went on that break, you were talking about the matter of sovereignty and then the role that the Nigerian military could have played. There are concerns now in some quarters that where the airstrikes took place, there are no terrorists there. You've heard that. You've heard those kind of conversations, right?
Yes. I've heard that people said that, where the airstrike, where the villagers even went to the place and take some debris of the bombs and start looking at it. Yes, those are the areas that we needed to look at. That is where the military need to now come to tell us. Because these are things that before the strike has taken place, there are security surveillance. Possible Nigerians drones, army drones, have been used to survey the area, the locations and everything given to the American military where they are going to strike. But today, what we have now seen so far, it is the equipment information that is at hand. What are the achievements? This is where the military, our own military need now to be telling Nigerians that so far, this is where the bomb has hit, this is the achievement, this is the achievement. Yes, but I was waiting because in some cases, if such things just happen in operations, they take a while because there might be a coming in the sense that the foot soldier of Nigeria will move into where they have been targeted and be hitting. Then before they can now come with a clear information that so area. If anybody is telling us today that we have not gotten the dens of the ISIS, I will not agree until we heard from Nigeria Armed Forces.
The other question I'd like to ask is something, it's more or less see if we can get some kind of clarity, because it's been a rumor that sometimes the military gets to the den of the terrorists, to their hideout, and then just when they are about to strike, they get an order from above to leave that place. Do you think that's likely to happen in this kind of situation?
Well, there are informations that out there people said, but why sometimes we as the expert, we don't want to believe is that what is the reason behind it? That is where some people call it sabotage. What are the reasons? And how do we be able to agree that, because through communications we can trace, if that such things happen, people should be able to come, that A called B, that don't go and withdraw. On that time, we can be able to say the military has sabotaged the efforts. But if that has not come, how do you be able to agree? But you can see a lot of things because Nigeria is a more of where we politicize issue than actions. So if people now come and said, look, the military are already on the dens, they now had a call, they have to withdraw. Now, who make call? We have not been able to get it. But we know there are sabotage. But if the sabotage is on the level of where certain things have been done, until we'll be able to get to the root of the matter, then from there it can now become a subject that needs to be dealt with.
Thank you so much. Dr. Hassan Sadiq is a security strategy expert. Thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
We also had joining us virtually Dr. Salahuddin Hashim, who is a security and counterterrorism expert, but in the course of the conversation, we lost him owing to network issues. We'll hope to bring him back maybe in the course of the week to talk to us some more about this whole matters.